Hey, I'm just getting adjusted here. I'm on my way down to Taliban, which makes for a real change, doesn't it? Uh, my life as a driver, actually, it means pretty well that, driving up and down between here and Taliban, which is not a problem because I really enjoy driving this truck, the Raptor. I get occasional comments from my friends and subscribers who I write to fairly regularly in America, and they say that they don't see the Raptor around very often, that it seems to be driven by the outdoor type, the cowboys and things. Hadn't thought of myself like that. Well, here it's the truck of choice, and for me it is a super truck. I just love it, but I wasn't really going to talk about that. I wanted to talk about what it's like for people when they come out here. Now, this is a never-ending subject, because of course we have people who really can't face going through all of those videos, of which I believe we have it's either 15 or may even be 16,000 videos now that we have. We're not posting as many right now because we are actually very busy. We're working on the property in Burgos to get us down off the mountains, is the idea, so that we don't have to do this mud drive every time. This isn't a problem. It's not a problem when we're driving the truck, but on a bike, which 2 or 3 other people who live at the compound. Balalut is the son of Rado, and Bibi is a son of Tata, and Tata the brother of Beth, and he also rides a motorcycle as well. So there's like three motorcycles being ridden, and I stopped riding my bike, which is a sports bike. See, there's Tata there. See, right now the road is quite dry, so it's not a problem, but there's always these areas where the drainage is very poor, and it holds water which lies there stagnant until it rains again, and then it gets topped up. So these situations, unless we have continual dry days, these places will never dry. They will be like this, and what that means for me is that the truck will always be dirty. And the problem is, it's not just aesthetics. The suspension and braking system and everything underneath all gets coated in mud, then it dries, then it gets coated in mud again, then it dries again, and soon it really does cake like rock to various parts which are supposed to be moving. All the suspension and braking system doesn't do well under that, so I have to not just spray with a powered hose. That's not enough. I have to actually get underneath. Not get underneath, but you understand what I mean. I have to get so that I'm cleaning underneath. So that's the situation. I'm just passing a man who's collecting bamboo. Bamboo is used for many things, but one of the chief things that it seems to be used for, because I see it bent in all different shapes, which are designed to be the outriggers on the pump boats. The pump boats here are made of, believe it or not, a wooden framework, but then they are sheathed in plywood, and then after that, after being sheathed with plywood, and obviously they have to be filled with Bondo, which if I were doing it a similar project like that certainly in the US, I would have mixed the Bondo with fiberglass resin, and then that would be really hard. But anyway, what they do after that is they paint it with a 2-part epoxy paint which withstands the sea. So that's what that's for. But anyway, I was going to talk. It's funny, there is almost, as soon as you start talking about life here, life is so different that it's easy to get off and talking about another subject. But anyway, the idea of getting along with someone who is different culture than yourself, it's not just about the language. In some languages, there are different emphasis on the way that you speak. Obviously, in say for instance Chinese, which I was beginning to learn a little about. That's another video. You know, the emphasis on the way that you speak is quite different, but then emphasis is still the same even if you're speaking English. You know, if you were asked a question and were not quite sure, you could say, I don't think so, I don't think so, I don't think so, and you would place the emphasis on think. But if someone was suggesting to you something that you really were never going to do, you'd say, I don't think so. See, so emphasis is there in any language. And Filipino, in my case, I hear the most of Visayan, or as they would say, Visayan, because V is a difficult word, a difficult letter for them to actually say. So you tend to get this thing of them saying B, and also saying F is another difficult one too. That's why you hear the Philippines, and very often I've heard, especially older people, are like this to say the Philippines, instead of the Philippines. I guess I see the P and they don't allow for the H, and so it becomes the Philippines. And so there are all of these things which are there, but you wouldn't believe how much it can lead to misunderstandings between you and your lovely lady. There is no real regard for past, present and future, and there's a totally different way of using the words yes and no. You wouldn't believe how much one of the most used phrases in your English language when you get here, when you're talking to your wife or girlfriend or anybody Filipino, is trying to get an answer which is yes or no, because the yes is the acknowledgement and agreement of whatever you have said. So if you say we're not going then, we're not going to Taliban then, they'll say yes. So for a foreigner, that would mean yes, we are going, but it doesn't mean that with a Filipino. A Filipino is agreeing with the essence of what you have said, the meaning. So if you have said we're not going to Taliban, we're not going to Taliban then. That's how certainly somebody from Manchester would speak. Say, oh, we're not doing that then. What they're doing is they're asking for a yes or a no. A yes or a no to whether they are going to Taliban. Now, a Filipino will say yes. And now you don't know whether you're going to Taliban or not. So you say, oh, so we're going? Yes. And then seeking to understand what's happened, you say, but I thought you said, when I said we're not going, you said yes. To which they respond, yes. So you meant yes. Yes, I did. I meant yes. So we're going? Yes. But you said no. You said we're not going. When you said yes, you were saying yes, we're not going. Yes. So are we going or not? Yes. But I gave you two things you could agree to or not. Are we going or are we not going? Yes. So is that yes or a no? Yes. So it's not no. Yes. You're asking again. Oh, so we're not when it's not we're not going. It's we are going. Yes. So it's not no, we're not going. Yes. So that, and the other one that I find is almost impossible is whether they did something or not. So they could be talking to you and say, we are, yes, I did that. I did. The easy one for me to give it to it is like a phone call. Yes, I called Harry. Oh, really? What did he say? No, nothing. But you said you called him. Yes. But you didn't call him? Yes. Here we go again. So, did you call him or not? Yes. And this is where you start to try to get really specific. So, did you actually call him? Yes, I'm going to. So, you haven't called him yet? Yes. Does that mean you haven't called him, yes or no? You won't believe this. They'll say both. No, help me out here. I'm trying to stay sane. Oh, did you call him or not? Yes. Well, when did you call him? I'm going to call him now. Now, I'm calling him now. So you didn't call him? Yes. Now, this is funny to relate because it is not without humor. But if you're outside and you're speaking to someone that you don't know very well, and you're trying to get the yes or no answer, then they may not even be. Sorry, there's a truck backing in opposite to the way that I'm trying to get out. So I think he's allowing me to go out. Okay, so when you're outside, you're trying to get the yes and the no. Here's the subtlety of the Filipino way. We had a wonderful friend of ours who came out. We have two friends who visited and stayed with us, called Will. Now, one is one is a tiny compared to foreigners, okay? So one is small Will, little Will, and the other is a 6'3", I think it was. So naturally he's called Big Will. So Big Will came out, and he would do everything like an American. Everything is big. When I was in the UK as a kid, I used to hear adults talking about Americans. Oh yeah, everything's big there. Especially if you talk to someone in Texas, oh my gosh, everything is Texas. Texas is big. The airport is big. It's the biggest airport ever. All of these things are big. They are big. The trucks are big. The cars are big. The engines are big. So Will comes out, and when he says hello to a Filipino, his arm goes up at full extent. Hi, hey, hello, ¿cómo está? The Filipino that he is saying all of this to and doing all of this to would do this, or the upside down nod. The upside down nod is the one where they go. A foreigner normally would, if you wanted, in fact there's an expression called giving the nod. Oh yes, he nodded. This is nodding for a foreigner. Yes, I see you. Yes. This is nodding for a Filipino. It's an upside down nod. In the same way that when you beckon to someone, if you're a foreigner, you beckon like this. Come here. Come here. But if you're a Filipino, you go like this. And you drop the hand. And if you really want them to come quickly, as if it's a child who's not behaving themselves, you go. So things, in terms of communication, things are so different. Now, it's not the same for everybody. Some people are not really interested that much in communication as a subject. So I've seen expats who have made videos about their experience and their first impressions. And one of the things that I saw, one expat came, an American, and he came and he said, you know, I don't understand why they don't have names on the roads. I mean, how are you supposed to know where you're going? There's no names on the road. And that's true. And the next thing that he noticed was there's no numbers on the house. Now, he rounded off that particular trip into confusion by saying, why don't they have a doorbell? You see, these things that we take for granted, which are regimented so that it's easy to find things, here are on a small town basis. If you ask for, I'll give you a good example to end off this because I'm on the road now. Our friend Alfred arrived on the doorstep of our mountain home. Having made that trip with a tricycle, somehow he persuaded a tricycle driver to bring him up to the house on that terrible road on a tricycle, and they managed it, and he arrived. Now, he didn't have an address for us. He recognized the bridge that we built once the tricycle driver brought him here up to our house. He said, yes, this is it, I recognize the bridge. But prior to that, the tricycle driver had taken him to another bridge, Baboy Bridge, and said, this is a Baboy Bridge. I said, no, this is not the bridge. And so then they started to ask for Terence and Beth. As luck would have it, the one person that gave them some real instruction, turned out to be my brother-in-law. Says, yes, I know exactly where they live, and he directed them. And then when they got to the top of the hill, there's only the one house, the house that he got out of the tricycle and faced and asked for us. Nanai brought us down from our house, which was a little way up on the hill, and that's how he found us. Now, if you were looking for a house in the UK, you'd go to, I don't know, Bledsoe Street. Looking for Bledsoe Street. Well, you go down there along Stretford Avenue, and you turn left, and it's by the pub, the Dog and Whistle. Things would have a name because it's in a different country, and it's not the same here. So, no street names, no numbers on the doors, and no doorbell. What you do is you stand out at the edge of the compound and go, "Ayo," or whatever it is that you say. So that's it. That's it for my blurb about getting on between the different ethnic people. Sorry, I'm trying to look and not crash into things at the same time. Bye for now.